Hi, everybody. Thank you for listening today to Sadie and Sean Have No Friends. It's the newest episode, and we would like to thank our presenting sponsor, Talent Co. Real Estate, homeandnoco.com. And be sure to go and check out everything that they have to offer. They're a wonderful team. Sean, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you? I'm actually
I'm great.
nervous.
Why?
Well, because the last 5 times I think that I've taken my truck in for an oil change, something major has come up, and so I
Oh,
just took my actually, like, literally, like, the minute that we got on here, I dropped my truck off to get an oil change, and I'm watching my phone to see what the latest $2,000 charge will be, and I'm starting to think, like, 6th time, if it happens again, like, nothing's actually broken
is
on
it
my
going
truck.
to the
They're
same
just
place
yeah,
over
I
and
should probably
over?
try a new place, and I don't. This place is so convenient.
No, see,
It's right
listen.
by my office, so I can drop it off, I can walk to work, they do the oil change and fix all the problems that cost me $2,000 every time, and I just come to work and go about my
I
happy,
just think
merry
the
day.
$2,000 is not doesn't make sense with the math. Like, you're gonna spend $2,000 because it's a good place, it's, like,
It's convenient.
close to your
It's yeah.
work? Oh, okay.
Yeah, if I took it somewhere else, I'd have to get an Uber, which would cost me, like, $40.
I took my car in because the brakes started squeaking, so I took it in, made an appointment, drove it, like, 2 towns over to the only dealership that could work on it, and then they're like, "We're gonna have to keep" it was Thursday, "We're gonna have to keep this overnight." I said, "Okay, that's weird, but okay, you're busy." And so then they give me a rental car, and I don't really like driving a rental car, A, because it's not my car, and B, because what if I crash it or something? Then I gotta do that. And so, I go and I drop it off, and then they keep it an entire weekend. I'm starting to think maybe they're joyriding the car. And then I go back, and you know what? I brought it home. Did not work. The squeaking still a thing. I don't think they did anything. I think it collected dust. So
Did
now
you
what I
do you
have
bring
to
this up,
do,
or do
well,
you
then
just
I
let it
called
go?
and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Hey," no, because we paid for it. I
Oh,
called and I said, "Hey, we paid to do this and it doesn't work." And then they said that they could do an appointment and they're going to reach out to me, and then I get busy. But I got to get on that because I don't want it to lapse where they were like, "That was 6 months ago," because it was
right.
literally just a few weeks ago. But I'll forget about it and then I'll
I'm
lose
actually
out.
surprised. Ryan strikes me as the type of guy that would work on cars. He's the type of guy that strikes me as he'd do his own oil changes and he would change brakes and fix squeaking noises. He's not that guy?
He's not that guy. He
Huh.
could he could. I think he could, but he's not. My dad is. My dad will go and change the oil on his truck and, like if I needed he can put brakes on and do all this stuff. But my dad always does it in like a funky weird way that frightens me as I get older cuz he'll be like, "It says to do it this way, double triple that. It'll be even better." And I'm like, "What? Or am I supposed to do that?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, no, it's good." And so it's kind of the best of both worlds that we just take our cars in.
Yeah, there was like a generational thing that happened, I feel like, because my grandpa and even like partly into my dad's generation, they always did their own. Like they my grandpa would probably disown me. He's probably rolling over in his grave right now because I'm paying somebody $80 today to do an oil change for me when he
I
could do
think
it for
that
$15.
he also rolled over when you went that year where you wore a bandana. Your
No, he
grandfather's
liked that.
been
He
rolling and
wore
rolling.
bandanas too, actually, but good
He
try.
did. Okay, go.
Not the way I wore them. He blew his nose
Okay.
into them and kept them in
Okay.
his pocket.
Well, that's not a bandana. Isn't that just called a
Look the same as my bandana. As a matter of fact, I think those bandanas were hand-me-down bandanas from my grandpa that he had once snotted in.
if you're thinking this is going to be like a pride thing, I don't know where you're getting it though. I would
My
want
pride,
my
I'm just saying,
grandchildren to
can
wear
we get off
that.
the bandana thing and go back to the oil change thing and just know
Yes.
that the
Okay.
something happened, and it was probably our generation. My grandpa tried to teach me how to change the oil in a car when I was, like, 10, and I was too busy jacking around with other things, and so I didn't learn, and now it costs me probably
Yeah, but even
$60
if
every
you did,
time.
say that it takes you, I don't know, how long does it take? Such a How long does it take you to change a car oil? I don't
I
know
don't
how
know.
to
I
do
feel like my grandpa, like looking back, it was a long time ago, but I feel like it took him, he would change the oil on his and my grandma's car like once a month on a Saturday. And I feel like it took him the afternoon. He would start after
Yeah.
lunch and he would be done by dinner
He
time.
was changing the oil a lot if it was once a month.
Yeah, he wanted to make sure them things ran for life. Those cars ran forever too. Mine's
Yeah,
probably
it's
about
true.
dead.
I know it's so true. I just might remember my grandmother had a long boat of a car, but you would hit a bump and it would rock you to sleep. The shocks were just so
Yeah.
beautiful. And now it's cheap, cheap, cheap. And
Can I
that
say
it,
this
yeah,
though? Like, and this
sure.
is going to be very profile-y and very prejudiced, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, but this is just the way that I saw it. I take my truck to pay $80 to get an oil change, and I look back in the shop and I see the guys that are changing my oil, and I'm like, damn, that guy definitely didn't finish high school, and he can change my oil, and I can't.
No, they have to go to school. They have to go to mechanical school. They can't just
Not to
walk
change
up
your
and be
damn
like,
oil. I think that they call them lube techs. I think the lube techs can just
they also
jump
called
in
you
and
that in high school.
oh, I knew that was coming. Anyway,
You teed me up, Bubba. Yeah.
I think the lube techs can just walk in and say, "Hey, yes, I know how to change the oil on a car. Sign me up." The guys that do the work, like the work that could make your car not fall apart, those guys have to go to school. The lube techs don't, and
Oh,
I'm talking
really?
about them specifically. And I look back there and I'm just like, dude, I really should watch a YouTube video and learn how to change my own oil because I feel less masculine because I don't know how, and my wallet's lighter as a result too.
There are so many things that people tried to teach me when I was young that I was just like, I got no time for this. And now I'm like, oh, that would be really nice to know how to do.
Bullshit. You
What are you
you could know how to you could be the best oil changer in the entire history of the planet. You could be the perfect oil changer and you wouldn't do it. You would not.
I
You
would
would
do
still
it.
take it somewhere. No, you would not.
Wait a second. Why are you yelling at me right now? That just
Because
came out
that
of nowhere. What are you talking about?
you if you knew how to change your oil, you would go do it yourself?
I think I would. I like
I
doing
don't
those
think so.
menial tasks like folding laundry. I like that. I
There's a
think if
big
you
difference. Folding laundry is very inside and by the air conditioner with Maury on. Doing an oil change is outside in the heat, getting dirty under your
You can
car.
have an air-conditioned garage or shop, Sean.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I
rich
just
people
feel
things, I
like,
forgot, my bad.
okay. Okay, are we gonna move on here?
Yeah, I didn't mean
I
for
don't
this to
even
go
know
on
why we
forever.
went here.
I just
Okay.
pissed off every oil changer
I
in the world.
know, and I didn't. I said, "No, you gotta go to a special school for that."
I
So,
know some oil changers,
oh, are we backtracking now?
all of which have a 7th grade education.
Oh, digging again. You just don't know how to get out of a hole because you keep pushing yourself down. So, let's change topics here because I was reading this article and I'm not bougie because it just popped up, but it was in the New York Times. And I just thought it was super interesting because, oh my God, my parents would never do such a thing. It's this new thing that some parents are trying. A lot of parents are overprotective and anxious when their kids go on a slumber party, right? Like, I don't know, some people get I grew up where it was like stay at your friend's house all summer long or your friend would be at our, I mean, is that how you grew up too?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
There was never it was never all summer long. It was definitely like, you can
Well,
stay at
yeah,
your
but like
friend's for
sleepovers, you
the
go stay to
night. Yeah,
yes.
they were fine with it.
Okay, so this is a new movement with parenting. I'm not on this movement, but other parents. Um Overprotective and anxious parents are now staying at the party
It
and they're
sounds like they're
called
probably swingers and they just like their friends' parents.
no, they're called sleep unders. This is a real thing. They're called sleep unders. And it's either where you drop your kid off at a sleepover and then you pick them up before bedtime, but still late so they can play. So it says here 2 or 3 in the morning. I would never do that.
No.
Or even staying over at the sleepover with them. Some parents are saying, yes, you can have a sleepover, but I want to have a sleep under where I also sleep there. Which if Murphy had a friend over and the friend's mom was like, I'm having a sleep under at your house, I think Murphy has diarrhea. Let's push this a little bit. I don't think any of us are ready for such a thing. But isn't that the craziest thing? Like, I went to sleepovers when I was a kid, and I will admit that occasionally someone's house would smell weird and I would get scared and I'd start thinking about my mom and I would just want to go home. But my parents were like, hell no. You are there. You wanted to go. And you would just lay there until the sun came up. And
I never had a moment at a sleepover where I needed my dad to come get me. We have had kids come over to our sleepovers and they wanted to leave. Not because of us, because girls specifically, they fight and they're mean to each other. And someone's always the left out one. And then they come up at 3 a.m. and I'm trying to do whatever I'm trying to do. And they're knocking on the bedroom door and they're like, I want to go home. Sally was mean to me. So that has happened.
Hate that. Oh, girls are so hard when it comes to that. Because not to sidestep here, but yesterday we went to the pool and Murphy took 2 friends. When you get a denomination of 3 when it comes to girls or grown-ass women, there's going to be something there because it's just like magnetic where 2 of the girls end up pulling towards each other and the one girl gets left out. It's misery. It's like parenting 101. Never let your kid have more than one friend over. I should write a book. But
I will say that in this day and age, though, back to your whole sleep under. My parents never checked. Like if I said I want to have a sleepover at Tony's house, they were like, all right, sounds good. We'll drop you off at Tony's house. And that was the end of the conversation. There was nothing else. Now I would never feel comfortable with that. Like our rule is with our 2 older kids, if they're going to have sleepovers, we must meet the parents of the house that you're going to. Like, it's not even just a phone call anymore. Like, hey, Mrs. Whoever, is it all right if my kid comes and stays at your house? No, we want to meet them and we want to know that they are okay people. I mean, I guess they could put on a facade and we would never know, but it's still one extra safety step.
You think they're going to come on out and be like, shoot, I can't lie to you. I'm a pedophile. This was an elaborate trap.
I feel like I have some people have gaydars where they can find out, like when you go up next to somebody, yep, gay. And I don't have that, but I do have pedophile radar. I go up next to somebody and it's just like,
do you really?
He touches little boys. And
that's not true.
Quite frankly, if my pedophile radar goes off and it's wrong, then I say you can't go to that guy's house because he touches little boys, and I'm wrong. Nothing's harmed by that. I kept my kid out of a situation and I called somebody a pedophile who's not actually a pedophile, and it's fine. They're safe.
Sean, take a step back. You can't call people pedophile just to tell your kid they can't have a sleepover.
I sure can. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Your kid's going to go to school and be like, damn, I was supposed to stay at Jimmy's this weekend. Dad's a pedophile. I had to look that up because I am young, but it means he twinkles little dinkles. And you know what? That's messed up. And then that guy might get investigated. You could ruin some dude's life just because you're a puss and can't say no.
No, I'm not saying no. I'm going to only do that if I truly feel that they're a pedophile. I'm not going to just do it to get out of it. I would use a different situation in that sense. I don't know. I was going to say,
Sean, too far.
No, if my pedophile radar goes off because I think they are truly a pedophile, I'm not going to tell my kid. I'm not going to be like, hey, dude, you can't go to their house because that's a pedophile. I'm going to say, no, the sleepover is just not going to work this weekend. And that's just the end of the story. Or next.
Any weekend.
Or any
dad,
weekend.
I think, is a pedophile.
No, I'm not going to say that because we don't need to spread rumors, but it's not going to hurt anything. If my radar goes off and I think you're a creep, my kid's not staying at your house.
But I mean, again, you were saying your parents, and I know with my parents, they did not check on who it was. I don't want to say my parents were bad at all. It was truly just a different time with parenting. If somebody, would have been like, if my kid wants to stay at your house, we have to come meet your parents and talk to them and blah. My parents would be like, we don't have time for this shit. Just tell them it's Jim and Jennifer, and we've lived here for a million years. And if your kid is freaked out, don't come. I mean, I don't know.
It's
I
true.
just
I
think
never
that this
you
is just next level helicopter parenting is sleep
it is.
undering.
It
That
is.
would be, I think, embarrassing.
I will say you told a story one time about staying at a pretty weird place. I never really had a weird sleepover experience. All of mine were pretty good. There was only one time where, and I don't think this dude meant any harm by it. It just felt out of place. In 5th grade, we went to the YMCA camp. Did you do that? It's like the camp
Yeah.
in Estes Park, and
Mhm.
you have one like parent liaison who stays in the room with you and 3 or
Oh
4 other kids.
God.
And the dude my dad slept in his underwear every night, his tidy whities, and that was just normal. But
Yeah.
this guy, the nights that we stayed there, he stripped down to his tidy whities and he slept in his tidy whities. And I just he didn't do any, he did nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong. But even my 5th grade self was like, dude, don't you have like sweatpants?
Pajama pants that you could
Yeah.
have brought, even
Why
if
are you
that's
sleeping in them tidy whities in front of a
then
bunch of
why'd you
5th
get
grade
into
boys?
my bed? There's plenty of room in
No,
your
see, this is how rumors start. Not because my pedophile radar goes off, which is usually pretty right.
You said that was a weird moment where you were like,
It was weird when
"Ooh."
he took his pants off and he was just standing there in his underwear, some random dude I'd never even met before. He did nothing wrong. That's how he
I
slept.
I
He
rem
wanted to be comfortable too. It's hot in the room.
I have I have seen so many things in my youth growing up that would terrify me as a parent, but my parents were either not terrified or just the most chill people in the world, because there are things like stories like the story that I told episodes ago about the sleepover I went to where the dad like took all of his clothes off and passed out drunk on the floor.
Yeah.
Like, we just stepped over him to go to the bathroom. Now, that would be headline
Mhm.
news, and I would be suing, and I would be but, I mean, it was just like, yeah, that was a weird ass thing that happened, and
But
then
see, you
myself,
can
I learned I'm not gonna probably go in that situation again because that was really uncomfortable. So I
but you
learned
can avoid
myself.
but you can avoid that situation for your kids too, which is where our parents, I guess, made a mistake back in the day by simply meeting the parents. I feel like a guy like that's probably going to show his true colors even in a 5-minute meeting. You're going to be like, yeah,
You
maybe I'm
are
not going to
saying my
let
parents
Sadie
are
stay there.
terrible.
My parents were my parents let me, and I talk about this all the time and all the stories that come along with it, but the overall umbrella, my parents let me work in a bowling alley when I was 13 years old.
Yeah.
You know the shit that you see in a bowling alley?
Right, but that's what I'm saying is, like, at that time, it wasn't a thing where your parents would have been like,
Oh.
"Holy" if Murphy came home and said the dad passed out naked, that's a big deal to where it is odd to me that my parents were like, "Huh, oh, okay, well, don't go back to that girl's house." And I'm like, "Yeah, probably not." But that's how we learn. Now, the helicopter parents for sleepovers that do the sleep unders, your
Yeah.
kid's never going to learn with how to cope with these situations or listen to their senses of like this feels it weird, because they're always going to have that umbrella of a parent who's like, "It's just me sleeping under the bed. I love you, Jimmy." Like, weird. Then they're
Who
never going to learn anything.
You're exactly right, but I also still just question who's the parents that are allowing this to happen. 'Cause,
Right.
you and I can both say, like, I don't have any I guess my best friend, but they would be staying as, like, a family. It wouldn't be a sleepover situation, but I
Yeah.
have no my kids have no friends who I would be like, "Yes, your mom can come over and stay the night with you tonight."
No.
Like, none. I know 0.
No.
A total of none.
And I would say if this is a thing and she's not ready in your eyes, that's
Yeah.
fine. But I can't, no, I don't want to, I don't even like going, this is going to sound bad, but I'm not a fan of going to birthday parties for kids and being there. I like to just drop the kid off and leave. And, and that just feels so amazing. And so if somebody were like, can I stay an entire night at I'd be like, no.
You wouldn't, you would find something
I
nice to
would
say,
not.
some sort of
No,
excuse.
you
I
would. You
would.
can't say
Yeah,
no.
you're exactly
No.
right. I would say I don't have an extra room, and then they'd be like, "Well, I'll sleep on the couch," and I'll say the dog pissed on it, and then they'll say I'll sleep on the floor, and I'll say I just cleaned my carpets, they're wet.
Sean
I'm already ready
wishes
to go. I've got these little white lie excuses
no,
lined up in my head.
Sean wishes he was this quick fire, but he would just go,
Yes, you could
okay.
stay at my house. You could sleep in my bed. Sure, Shannon would love that.
Do you mind? She's like, yep. Anyway, I just think I read that article and I thought we are doing such an injustice to children these days. Well, but also I guess we're helping them, but I don't know statistically have numbers gone down of this kind of thing happening because I feel like we see it more and more, like I don't know, weirdo sleepovers. I just read one. I think this was like national news. Did you hear about this dude? And he his daughter had friends over, and I'm gonna look it up. He like date rape drugged milkshakes for them. These girls were young. Okay, hold on. Fill time.
People are sickos. I don't need to know this whole story because that doesn't sound like a good story that I want to hear about. So please don't look it up.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
You said
I'm already
enough.
halfway through.
I mean, what else needs to be said? I think we got it. That's I think
12-year-olds with
see, you're
smoothies.
making it worse.
Nobody he didn't do anything. I should preface it by saying he didn't do anything. He just drugged her or all these 12-year-old girls by putting depressant drugs in smoothies. But which is terribly dangerous and wrong. But have you ever had a pack of hyena girls have a sleepover at your home? Maybe you need to slip them a Mickey in their milkshake, and because or else it's
This
2
is
in
how
the
you get
morning.
canceled. This is how you
Oh
get
my
canceled.
God,
Let me
Sean.
circle the moment. 21-minute mark of episode 103. Sadie gets canceled for saying we should date rape drug our sleepover kids.
I never said that. What I said was sometimes when you deal with a bunch of kids, they don't need to be drugged, but is there essential oil to like shut the fuck up and
It's
stop
called whiskey.
fighting? Okay, so I'm not getting canceled because I never said that you should drug a child. I'm just saying, again, is there an essential oil where they'll just stop screaming and fighting with each other or saying they like each other's boyfriends or, it's a
Is
tough age.
melatonin
12 is a
legal?
tough age.
Is melatonin legal? Like, would you be mad if Sophie was 12 and she went over to somebody's house and so somebody got tired of listening to 12-year-old girls bicker and so busted out the melatonin or the NyQuil and gave it to Sophie? Would you be
Ooh,
all right
that's a
with that?
great. Well, the NyQuil would be a little much. A melatonin gummy, I think you have to eat like half of a bottle in order to get sleepy. That's just me. Some people swear they can eat one, and
So
I
you'd
don't
be
know.
cool. So okay,
No, I didn't say
take
that.
the
I didn't
NyQuil out.
answer that.
Take the
Okay, take the
NyQuil out. I
NyQuil
want
out.
you to think about this again. Sophie comes home at 12 years old, or Murphy when she turns 12.
Okay.
She comes home from a sleepover and she says, "Mommy, I had such a great time at my sleepover. I slept like a baby because they gave me melatonin before we went to bed last night." You'd be like, "All right, cool. I don't care that they did that."
No, I wouldn't. If you are you're right. If you're deliberately trying to put them to sleep, that seems shady. Now, I will say that Murphy will occasionally take a melatonin gummy for kids. And if she has a friend over and it's a gummy and they're like, I want one, I'm like, here you go. You allergic to melatonin? Probably not. Have yourself one. I don't think that's bad. She's having one. The other kid's looking at it like candy going, may I have one?
I would probably go get a gummy
Melatonin.
bear out of the
Not
pantry
all of us
before I
have
gave a
gummy bears.
melatonin to.
Really? Do you think that was a wrong thing to do?
Yes. I don't think you can. I wouldn't even give Shay's 16. She's my oldest kid. If her friend came over to my house and was having a sleepover and was like, "Hey, Sean, I have a really bad headache. Do you have any ibuprofen?" I
You
would
wouldn't
not
give
give
the
her.
kid
I would not give her.
Advil?
I would have her call her mom and say, hey, can you put your mom on the line to make sure that I'm not giving them anything like that. Because the minute they get sick and they end up in the hospital or they go home and they tell their mom and mom's Karen, I get sued or I end up on the news because I was trying to help this kid with her headache. It's just not
Are
worth it.
you
Not worth
trying
it.
to defend this man who drugged those 12-year-old girls?
Absolutely. I just said I wouldn't give them a fucking ibuprofen.
I love it when you yell. It's the funniest thing. But
You're
anyway,
trying to put this on me.
no, I am
21-minute mark is
not.
when Sadie said that this was all right. I never said it was all right.
Listen, he didn't do anything to the girls. I would never go so far as to say that, yeah, it's okay to do that. What I'm saying is if Murphy has a friend over and I say, here's a melatonin gummy, and the little girl's like, I haven't slept for days. I'm delirious. I just cry all the time. I'd be like, well, why don't you try one of these over the counter melatonin
Don't care.
gummies that I
I
bought?
see you. Let me give you some advice. Text mom first. You'll thank me later.
Okay, well, I'm not thanking you now.
That's fine. I didn't ask for you to thank
Can
me
I
now.
tell you though that when I had Sophie, our family doctor was like, if you're going on a flight, give her some Benadryl, knock her out. Like this
Really?
was not a big deal.
That's kind of weird too, how times have changed. I had I've talked about it before, but I had horrible teeth, and so from the time I was in 3rd grade until I was a senior in high school, I had some sort of crazy appliance in my mouth, and it would cause me to have really bad headaches. And so my dad gave me a bottle of ibuprofen or Advil. At one point, it was even like Excedrin migraine, which is some heavy duty over the counter stuff. At probably 8, 9, 10 years old, I had bottles. And I'll be honest, I learned to be responsible with them. He told me the dangers of overdosing and how much I was supposed to take, and he trusted me with my own bottles of that sort of stuff. I don't Shay would 16 again is the oldest I can comprehend. She's not allowed to have her own bottles of pills. She has to ask us before she has any
Are you
medicine.
serious? Your 16-year-old has to say, I have a headache. Can I have 2 Tylenol?
Maybe she
Come
knows
on.
she knows where the
You're
medicine she knows where the medicine cabinet is. I bet I don't know for sure. I think that we would be upset with Shay if she was like taking melatonin every night, not telling us. If she needed to and asked, that's a different story.
That's
But if
the
we
worst
found
thing
out
your
that she's
16-year-old daughter is
she's
doing.
addicted to melatonin at 16,
Yeah, but again, if
that's a
that's the worst
gateway
thing,
drug.
because
Marijuana
a
used to be the
parent
gateway drug. Now
flagrantly
it's
gave it
melatonin.
away. Stop talking.
Next thing you know, she's gonna sniff paint.
Get over
And
here, kid.
You know what sniffing paint leads to?
Doing drugs that are harder than paint?
Yeah,
What does that
sniffing
lead
other
to?
things.
Stiffy. You know what, Sean? This is the lowest common denominator. This episode today has been a fever dream, and I would like to apologize.
It's not over yet. I'm still talking.
No, you're not, Sean. Let me jump in really quick and say, first of all, I would like to end the show today by saying that I do not think that guy that drugged all those 12-year-old girls in milkshakes, it's okay. I didn't say that. And I don't want Sean to get out there that I do.
Hold on, time out. You did say that I can understand why he might have done that.
No, I said, I didn't say I could understand why he drugged girls. What I said was I could understand a bunch of 12-year-olds maybe wanting to do it. And if that makes me horrible, that's fine. Now, would I ever do it? No. I also drive in my car sometimes and think, what if I just drove off the road? Wouldn't that be weird? Am I going to do it? No. But at the time, it seemed like a great idea. Yeah. But, you know, so whatever.
Hey, would it make a difference if it was boys? Would you feel any different about this situation if it was 12-year-old boys and he drugged them?
If someone gave him melatonin or drugged him?
No, the same situation with your buddy here that drugged the 12-year-olds with milkshakes.
I don't know. You bastard. I wouldn't be okay with that.
Yeah, but it's all right if it's girls.
No, it's not. What I'm just saying, girls are a lot more drama. And so if I were to drug one of them, it would be a girl. But
Stop.
Listen.
Katie's a good person deep down inside. She just has some demons. All right, continue on.
I feel like we should scrap this entire episode. This is all coming out so wrong. I'm not saying you should drug boys or girls. I don't think you should drug any of them. I'm just saying, if it were my children in my past, God, I don't know how to get out of this hole I've dug. Well,
she would use much less dangerous drugs. She would use melatonin.
Well, Sean and I are different because I would. See, if if a 16-year-old was at our house and said, "Hey, can I have some Advil?" I'd be like, "Yeah, get them they're in the bottle in the cabinet."
And then they accidentally take the Viagra and they're walking
If
around your
they're
house with a big
16,
old
well,
boner.
if you're keeping Viagra in the cabinet in your kitchen, but if they're 16 and I look over and they're just eating Advil, I'm gonna be like, "Well, this wasn't my fault." Right?
Yeah, have you
God,
seen that
Sean.
episode of Beavis and Butthead where he takes the woman's pills on the plane and he just eats them and then he goes crazy?
That would be Sean's luck, though. Sean would walk around the corner and be like, "What?" Um,
All
Let me
right, thank your
start with my
sponsors. Let's go.
Sean, I'd like to first apologize.
You've already apologized. Everybody knows you're a good
I
human.
know, but then I fall into saying something else
So
that
don't
sounds
anymore. Just
bad.
get out. Just be done. We all know you would never drug a kid. Most of us do. There may be some people
It's
that are listening right now
terrible.
that don't know Sadie very well. I can say from years of experience, I don't think she would drug any kids.
What's sad is that you really took a long time to get that out. Like you were thinking, you bastard. Thank you to our amazing sponsors. They are our show sponsors, Very VIP, Christiana Salon and Spa. When you go in there, they're in Johnstown, right by Shields. Just say Sadie and Sean have no friends. And I can guarantee you no one there would ever drug a child because that is wrong. And so, Sean, let me remind you again, they do not do that there, but they give amazing massages and they're going to make you look beautiful. If you just need to, just take time for yourself. I feel like we're in the middle of summer and it's a race I'm running and I'm failing miserably and I'm tired and I'd love to go in and get a massage. So just go see them. And I will walk in and say, Sadie and Sean have no friends and I have no shame. Sean, anything to add?
Nope, I think that's pretty good. I want a massage too.
Okay, thanks for joining it. Great. Now I'm worried.
All right, goodbye. I hope you sleep well tonight. Maybe you can drug your